little guy. Get yourself in there. Good job. Guys, this is my ins and outs, ups and downs, and everything in between about crate training. So follow along, but if you need extra help, check out our online training course or reach out to us on patreon.com. Hey guys, Kat here from Standing Stone, and I want to talk to you today about everything you need to know about crate training. The ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. So a common question is, when should I start crate training? Well, you should start crate training absolutely right away from day one of getting your puppy. If you think, oh, my puppy is so cute, which he is, and he would just be so cuddly if I just slept in bed with him one time, or you're struggling that first night when you try to crate train him for the first time, and you're like, oh, it'll just be easier to pull you into bed this one time, that is going to create a precedent that is going to haunt you for a very long time, maybe even forever. So when to start? Right away, and you need to stick it out. So from day one, this little guy has been crate training overnight and throughout the day. The next question people ask is, what kind of crate should I get? Well, I have two examples here. Wire crates are pretty common for people to say, yeah, I got a wire crate for my puppy. They've got a divider. I can separate it out to make it a little bit smaller. And then there's these type of crates, which are more of the enclosed style, which you could get the Very crates, the clamshell that are 2 pieces, or something like this Ruffland crate. For one puppy, though, to raise, the Ruffland crate can get a little pricey, but you can find alternative options that are similar size for less expense. And the biggest thing that I want to talk about the differences, I like enclosed crates. I like enclosed crates for a number of reasons. One, it creates a more enclosed environment where your puppy can settle down and they can't be seeing all of the activity when they're in a wire crate like this. The other side of it is these wire crates are pretty easy for dogs to actually be able to escape out of, whether they dig and break the bottom tray or they bust out of these wire doors, or they just are a Houdini and figure out a new way to get out of these. So they're very easy for dogs to learn to get out of. And then last but definitely not least, wire crates. If you have an accident, it's going to be a mess and it's going to get everywhere because it's basically open on all sides and the top. So if your puppy has a potty accident or a diarrhea accident, be prepared for that to be everywhere, not just inside the crate, not just all over your puppy, but all over your things as well. And then I also wanted to mention, because we like to talk about putting a towel over the front of our puppy's crate to kind of create an even more enclosed environment, if you try and throw a blanket over something like this, your puppy and dog has the option to pull that inside their crate with them and then even shred that up or eat pieces of it and potentially lead to a blockage or something like that. So that's the differences between a wire crate and a more enclosed style crate, and that's why we like enclosed style crates more. And one last thing to consider is where to put your crate. Every puppy's a little bit different, and some puppies have more FOMO, where they don't want to miss out on what's going on, so they prefer to be with you while they're crated. And some puppies need a more calm, quiet area, maybe a little bit of white noise, where they can calm down away from the activity in their crate. Then, what size? Obviously, there is a drastic difference in size in these two crates. And this little guy would be ridiculous in this size crate. Let me show you. This is basically an entire house for this puppy, a whole room for him to run around, and he can play, of course, but he can also decide to go potty at one end and sleep in this end very easily. Even if I was to put a divider halfway through here, that's a lot of space for this little guy. Sure, he can play, but you should be doing playtime and training time in a supervised environment. He's like, I still don't really want to be in here. In a supervised environment, not just letting him play in his own little space to his own devices in a crate this size. This is a more size-appropriate crate for him. Just enough room for him to be able to stand up, curl up, wiggle around a little bit, but much more size appropriate. Literally, this crate could fit inside of this crate twice or 3 times over. So having a size appropriate crate for your puppy is important. Is he going to outgrow this size crate eventually? Absolutely, and he's going to need to be upgraded to a bigger crate as he grows, but the more confined that space can be as he's learning good potty training habits, the more successful you're going to be during that crate training period. So I told you that you need to be starting crate training from day 1. Well, how do you go about that process? Well, you need to do things like give him an opportunity to go potty, then put him in his crate so that you know that he doesn't need anything when he starts whining, because he's going to start whining. Your puppy isn't used to crate time, most likely, and this is new and they're getting used to it. So you want to set them up for success with a for sure potty break before you start crate training them. Then, things to consider. If he settles down in his crate, I'm not going to let him out while he's whining when I know he doesn't need anything. But once he does settle down, let's say he settles for 15 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes, and then he starts whining or crying again, that would be a good indication, especially as a very young puppy, that he's ready for a potty break. So let's get him out, let's get him another potty opportunity, then let's go back in our crate for a little bit. But it's important that you remember when you think of cry it out, that yes, he can cry it out in his crate after we know he doesn't need anything, and if he does start crying again in an hour or so after he's been in here, it means he probably needs something, and how else is he supposed to tell you? So that is a great tip for when to start and how to start that crate training process, and you want to think about it in a routine type of mentality. So if your puppy knows that he's going to get an opportunity to potty, then he's going to have some crate time, then as soon as you take him out of his crate, he's going to go outside immediately for another opportunity to potty, to not only set him up for success, but you guys up for success from a potty training standpoint. Then, if he's outside running around playing for any length of time, and you go and put him back in his crate, there's a good chance that he's not recently pottied if he was playing outside for 30 minutes, and he might need one more potty break before you put him back in his crate. So think about these things from a success standpoint with your puppy in their crate, and think about it from a routine standpoint. It doesn't need to be so regimented of, oh, well, it's exactly 10 a.m., time for his potty break. No, it's more, hey, we did these things, now you're in your crate for a little bit of nap time, and as soon as that time frame winds up and you are whining again, we're going to go out for a potty break, and then we're going to go back and do a training session, or we're going to do a structured play session where we're supervising you inside the house. Then, before we put you back in your crate, it's back outside for another potty break. So don't think about it so regimented, so structured as we're following along with an hourly clock, but more of a routine of the expectation that he has is he's going to get potty breaks before he goes in his crate, and he's going to get potty breaks as soon as he comes out of his crate. So guys, now that he's in his crate and he's doing a little bit of that whining, I'm going to get him out of the crate. No, I'm not going to get him out of the crate and break my #1 rule. I am going to follow these tips for crate training to be successful. He's going to become much better at settling down in his crate very quickly if you follow these tips and tricks and don't break any of these rules. So until next time, I'm Kat the dog trainer. This little guy's almost quieted down, and we'll see you in the next video.